Welcome to Bottom Line Sports Talk. I'm George Abraham. You know my partner, Albert Cameron. We look at a lot of different things, but I'll tell you what, nothing better than you get a situation where somebody does well around here.
We've had a lot of great coaches come out of the Youngstown area. We had another one now. Tim Zetz has been hired by the Green Bay Packers. You're talking about a guy that's paid his due at Mississippi State, Davidson and Fordham. The Zetz family is famous in sports around here, like the Pellinis and like the Stoops. And
like to hear that.
So anytime a kid, I call them kids, make it, and you're talking about going to Green Bay, which is where Aaron Rodgers is, and congratulations to Tim, the Struthers graduate. By the way, Struthers having a great basketball season also.
Absolutely.
Yep, undefeated season. So we always wish good luck to the local kids that make it. And talking about local, YSU home game.
Wow. Who would have told? Matter if I'd have told you, hey, so we're going to a ball game late February, early March. Let's as many people there as we can. I believe, what are they allowing out?
About 3,500 or 3,600, yes.
A nice crowd for this weather.
Yes, and so they play Northern Iowa, who's always very good.
Wow.
Coming off a game against North Dakota State where they showed that they're going to play hard and they're going to play the right way. And I don't know what the game plan was on throwing a pass in the first half, but I think that they were defeated so soundly the year before.
Mm-hmm.
I think their first game as a coach staff, Coach Phillips decided let's come out of this thing.
And I followed every play. Field position the first half, inside the 10, inside the 5. I mean, if you wanted a reason not to throw it, you had it.
Yes, and I think it was part of the plan also. And they, so now they play Northern Iowa, who's just coming off a loss at South Dakota State. Both teams in the top 5 in the country. What a schedule early for YSU, but it's spring. And they're trying to get ready for the fall. That's really the goal of YSU right now. A new coaching staff that is setting goals on finding the players that want to be a part of this new YSU tradition that I've been new, that is hungry, and that is playing hard, that is playing loose and having some fun, and doing some things to win some games. And good luck to Coach Phillips and his staff.
Absolutely. Nice basketball result.
Yeah, they started rising.
They started took some names the other night, boy.
They started a tournament, and both the boys and the girls started with wins. And there's nothing better than coming on the air and saying 74-58 win over UIC is in the first round of the tournament. All 5 Penguins score in double figures. George, that has been your trademark statement on the show many times.
Absolutely.
If you get balanced scoring, you have a chance to win every night.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a big win.
Coach Calhoun was very pleased. I think anytime you win a first round tournament game, you're going to be pleased.
They could beat Oakland too.
Now they're
right?
going to play Oakland next.
They beat Oakland.
Oh yeah, they could definitely beat
Absolutely.
Oakland. They're healthy now. Everybody's back, and especially Quisenberry, who's the go-to guy, and I think Quisenberry was really happy what happened in that game because he knows the load's on his shoulders, and he doesn't have to carry him all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
But Bohannon and Quisenberry both are capable of doing it. Oakland, Tuesday night, 7:30. I'm hoping that they're ready to go because they can definitely, George said, they can win that game. And the girls move on. Congratulations to Coach Barnes' crew, a 62-59 victory. A little closer probably than they wanted, but that's okay. Mary Dunn had a tremendous game with 26 points and 20 rebounds. They needed every one of them. And now they are going to face a tough foe in Milwaukee in the quarterfinals. But just keep moving on. Want to move on. Survive and advance. That's the goal at this time of the year for the YSU Penguin boys and girls. Talking about winners, the Boardman Bowlers are heading to state again. Yes. Boys and girls.
Wow.
Second straight year for the girls going to state. George and I have made a commitment in this area to try to hit every sport as we can.
Yes, we try, especially the ones that maybe others don't pay quite as much, like non-revenue, call them Olympic, call them whatever you want.
And bowling is one of those.
Absolutely.
Why do we do that? Well, the kids that are involved, they practice just as hard
Yeah.
as the football and basketball teams.
Right.
You know, we just don't see them, but I guarantee you a Saturday morning, they're there at 7:30 getting their practices in. And these girls and boys at Boardman, good luck to you. And anytime you hear the word state, that means you've had a great year. We talk about other local teams that we covered long and hard, and that includes McDonald's great running program led by Chris Root. And Chris has decided to retire after 23 seasons. We wanted to mention that his 5 team state championships and 7 runner-ups just are high up on the list of coaches in this area. He's produced 33 All-Ohio runners. He has just been a mainstay at McDonald forever. Let's hope that whoever takes over there can continue the legacy that Coach Roop has started. You remember we did our show at McDonald? We couldn't believe how impressive it was.
Place is impressive. Hey, let's not forget Howland's Jared Megan.
No, we're not going to forget that. Not
State
at all.
champ, baby.
No, we saved the best for last. We saved Holland's Jarrett Minnick, a state champion swimmer. It was his 4th trip down, and he won the 100 breaststroke. Congratulations to Jarrett. Talk about putting time in. Swimmers report 5:30 in the morning and come back at 5:30 at night. They double session, and that's why they improve so much. You'll see swimmers start out as freshmen and think, "Wonder if we can get to that time? Can he get to that time?" And all of a sudden, as senior, he's busting that time, or she's busting that time, because they put so much effort into strength training, flexibility, and swimming in the pool. That these swimmers are amazing.
Let's talk a little bit about this football in the spring. Let's start with that. Not spring ball, a spring season.
Why
There's a
should it,
difference.
right? Yes.
What do you think? You played football in college. I played basketball. How do you feel about that? In my mind, it's 6 free games, 8 practice games.
They're happy. They're just happy playing.
Especially with new coach, right?
Yeah, they're happy playing.
Okay.
I mean, they're so elated.
All right.
In a normal, there ain't nothing. So I can't say normal. This is so out of the question. Different. Normally they'd be doing through spring practice. So if you ask the kids, would they rather be doing spring practice
Playing games.
or playing games? You know what the answer is, don't you?
Playing
Yeah,
games.
they'd love to play games.
We liked playing games when we were players.
Every player still does. They want
That's
to. You know,
true.
yeah. That's why when you're practicing 2 or 3 weeks and you have a layoff, you're never as good as you were because you need game action. You need that competitive edge that you get. So that's what Coach Phillips is doing with the YSU football team, trying to lead this team through this different situation and get them to the fall, where now it becomes back to football as its normal situation.
Now, basketball, a tournament win, I don't care what sport it's in. I don't care. Now, you want to tell me 5 guys in double figures? I'm encouraged.
Well, in any sport, as you said, George, it doesn't matter how you advance. You just want to advance.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a lot of ugly wins that turn out to be very beautiful when you play that next game, and that's what Coach Calhoun and Coach Barnes are telling their kids right now. Let's go beat Milwaukee if you're the girls. Let's go beat Oakland if you're the boys. Let's move on.
That put your Final Four in the league?
One step closer
Absolutely.
to representing your league, and that is really what the mid-majors want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Their goal is to get to the tournament. Whereas the Gonzagas and the Baylor, their goal is to win the tournament.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a good point.
Yeah, that's why. And if they get there, it'll be that's successful. There's nothing else more. That is super successful year if either one of the YSU teams happen to get into the big dance.
Now you led me right into it. Mid-majors looking for that slipper. San Diego State, you think has I had forgotten that the pandemic took away a pretty stinking good team last year.
Yeah, sure did. They were undefeated for a long time last year, and then they lost a couple, but they were going to be serious. They're ready to do some serious damage in the tournament. They came back with 3 of those starters. They came back with the hunger to get it going. And I remember George calling me about 3 or 4 weeks ago, telling me how much he loved Boise State, and I said there's no doubt they're really good. There's another team in that league that's really good, is San Diego State.
How about that league?
Colorado State's really good too. Yes.
And Utah State.
Utah State's really good. Yes.
Nevada.
I think they're getting 3.
Hey, I'm going to tell you.
I think they're going to get 3 in.
Boy, I don't want to sleep on that league.
No, I think they're getting 3 in this year. I do
Well, you
believe
know
that.
what? I can see why.
And I think Boise and San Diego State are the 2 best, with Utah State a little behind. But they can both those teams can win the games 61-60 or 81-80. I like those kind of teams to go to the tournament. Now Drake's a different story. Drake doesn't come into the tournament. They're going to win by outscoring you. That's the way they play. They have Hampel is a kid that they need back badly. If he happens to show up, then
So this
they'll
guy
be
broke
fine.
his foot,
Yes,
and there's talk he'll be back.
they're saying by that tournament he'll be back, and if he is, Drake is really dangerous. The old-fashioned way of saying you're going to win with defense, that's out. That is out. You're not winning by defense anymore. You got to put the ball in the basket. That the game has changed immensely with the 3-point rule and the use of the dribble. Drake is in a position to do some serious damage because they are really good offensively. Team that is really good also in that same breath is Loyola Chicago, George. Remember a couple years ago?
Yeah, they had the sister, the nun that followed them.
Yes.
And, they were very, very good. Final Four. Now, are they more old school?
Yeah, they are.
Like pick and roll.
Yeah, they do. They do some great stuff.
Not the wide open nuts. They can win with 65.
Yeah, they're a lot like Virginia.
Oh,
They're a lot like Virginia.
Well,
They're a little Virginia,
I
which,
know
which
what
means
you
they play pack line defense.
okay.
They're going to make it tough for you. You better be able to hit threes against them. And then offensively, they grind you down with screens. They grind you down with inside-out plays. And they grind you down so much that you forget they have good players.
I read where one of the experts thinks they're better in 2018.
Yeah, and I've seen the same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
That postman's the same guy.
He's been there. He's been there forever. He's
My God, he's got to be 30 years
he's Paul
old.
Bunyan. He's a big
Yeah, I
left-handed
know
kid
he is.
that
Absolutely.
ball fakes and throws up a left-hand hook, and one of those guys you don't see during the season that takes up a lot of room. The Ramblers did it in 2018. We're going to see if they come back again this year. That leads to a different kind of team that's a dangerous. Is West Kentucky. They got talent out of their butt
Historically,
for
they're
a
good, too.
yeah. Oh yeah, they have been good historically. They got really talent out of their butt with regards to for a mid-major. They landed junior forward Charles Bassey, a 5-star. They put some other 4-stars with them. They're a talented bunch. They already beat Alabama. They almost beat West Virginia. So they're not coming in as a surprise. Western Kentucky's really
You
good.
talked about Alabama. I saw one the other night. Arkansas played them. Albert, there were some athletes in that floor.
Yeah, Arkansas is up and down. When they're up, look out. Coach Musselman has them playing when they're playing.
You
their
know, I
best.
made a note that night. I watched and I said the same thing. I said they could be dangerous.
Yeah, if they're playing well.
I don't want to play them.
No, nobody does. Nobody wants to play Alabama either, because they now went to a shooting spell, a shooting drought, and when they're not shooting good,
They shoot
stop
every
because
14 seconds.
Yeah, because that's right.
Oh my God!
they're not changing their style.
No.
So now when they're shooting like they had all the season, because they're really good defensively too. You talk about a team that nobody wants to play is Alabama, because they play both sides of the ball and they play up tempo and shoot the ball in 14, as George said. And another team that's really good offensively, the last team of our mid majors is Belmont. Belmont is when you watch them play, it is like poetry in motion. Movement, 5 guys moving, people moving off screens, people hitting threes all over the gym floor. They win in the 70s and 80s. They usually get knocked out in the tournament because they get killed on the boards. They get hurt with teams that slash to the basket. But Belmont is still a dangerous team because they can score the basketball.
Not real physical, you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that
Good
a
point.
nice way
Good way
to
to say it. Yes.
Rick Bird was there forever. They get the coach from Lipscomb.
Mm-hmm.
For the people who don't know, they're in the same town. They're huge rivals.
Yeah, 2 miles. They're right next to each other.
So, you know.
In Nashville, yeah.
Now let's take an overall look at the tournament, and then we'll talk some history. But the tournament, would this be the year to have a mid, or do you think when they all shake out, Zags, Baylor, Michigan will be there?
Yeah, I think what you said is a good lead in, George.
Zags, Baylor.
I don't think it changes much.
Okay.
I think when you go in, I still think the top 3 seeds are still the class of the tournament. And this year it doesn't happen to be Duke, doesn't happen to be Michigan State, doesn't happen to be North Carolina. But Gonzaga, Baylor, and Michigan are three really, really good teams.
Who's your 4 if I twisted your arm?
Gonzaga. Yeah, I take
When
Gonzaga.
it's all said and done.
Yeah, the one team I think can get them is Michigan, though. I think Michigan is really underrated. I think they got athletes, they got players that can play the game of basketball, and they play the right way. They really move on offense, and I think Coach Howard's done a tremendous job there.
Oh, how about his recruits coming in?
#1 class in the country?
Albert, let me ask you. We're going to have our first tournament. We watched the NBA. We watched the WNBA. Bubble. They're going to Indiana. They're going to use Indiana, Butler, Purdue, Ooey Pooey, whatever. 2 things. 1, playing in a bubble. And then 2, we have to alert our people that think that's crazy that after one weekend there's only 16 teams.
At least they'll be clearing out most of the teams.
Okay.
That is correct. That's still dangerous though, because if you happen to get one player, you can keep moving on. They'll still keep playing. But if you happen to get 7 players that come down with it, they've decided, they made a decision they're not substituting any team once the tournament starts. You're not playing. That's the way it works. There's no team coming in, so they'll forfeit the game. I would think right now the coaches and assistant coaches have to be really on guard. Because girls are around, friends are around.
I had a teacher
you have to
back
just
in
go,
there.
yeah.
He would just shake his head. He'd give these tests back. They were all E's, economics. He was Oriental fellow. He was Asian, and he would come in and he would look at these tests out and he'd go like this. He'd go, "Too many boogie woogie parties. Too many boogie woogie parties."
Lots of boogie woogie.
And I'm afraid these college kids are going to
That's
have
dangerous.
boogie woogie party. They're kids.
That's dangerous. They want to go to that party, and the teams that have great leadership that say save your parties till after we win this championship. You need to hold off for 6 games. You need to hold off till we accomplish the goal that we've set out, because this COVID has made it different. We're in the middle of getting vaccines. We're getting closer, but we're not there yet. And this bubble format in Indianapolis next month coming up, not only does the best team have to win, but the best team also has to stay healthy.
We'll be all over that
Yes.
tournament, as we always
Yes.
are. Finding replacements, if we read it right, if it's a multi-bid league, next 4 out. If it's a 1-bid league, they can pick someone. Once it starts, it's a forfeit.
Good point. Yes.
So we need to talk about that. Now, some sad news from the week when we were last seen on our show. Tiger Woods, another incident, I'll call it incident. 1-car crash, 700 feet, no skid marks. If you were coming the other way, it wasn't your lucky day.
No, it wasn't. It happens all the time. It's happened to a couple people in my family have fallen asleep at the wheel. I think he definitely fell asleep. No question about that. Now, he's on bad back, with a bad back. He's on exercise thing. There'd be no doubt that he's probably taking some medicine with it. So you got that combination of taking pills and being tired in the morning. My guess is, George, he fell asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
When there's no skid marks,
I mean,
that has to tell me that.
what else could it be?
That's what I
mean,
think.
now, the reason for falling asleep.
We don't know that.
Right.
We don't know that.
We're not privy to
No.
that. They didn't take blood. I didn't like it. The officer said he didn't think he was drinking. Well, 10 after 7, it wouldn't be my first thought either.
No.
But I'd certainly check for pain medication.
Yeah, my remember, this what's the word
Yeah, well,
we use?
yes.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
Allegedly,
yeah.
in my mind.
Yeah.
In my mind, they go together. I think somewhere along the line, he was taking some medication for his back.
And we don't know that. We're
That's just a
speculating.
guess.
Now,
That's
let
a
me
guess.
ask you. I went further. I had a former player whose brother's a state patrolman in another state. I said, why wouldn't you test for?
What is the reason? What do you say?
He said, if there's no visible threat, they check the eyes. If they don't see anything, they
Yeah, they're taught to do that too. I mean, they are. That's state police are the best.
See, me, I don't trust anybody. It'd been the first thing I did. I knew he had trouble before.
Uh-huh.
He's had an accident. One day he didn't know where he was.
Oh yeah, his name probably has something to do with, no question about it too.
Yeah.
But I do. They are taught to
No,
look
absolutely.
for signs.
Well, that's why I asked
Yeah,
him. You know.
but I'm saying,
Yeah.
we're talking about Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Tiger.
We're talking about
That's
Tiger Woods.
let's face it. Tiger.
Yes.
Cher. Bono,
Yeah, one namer.
Elvis,
Yeah. A one namer, so you have to be pretty famous.
Yogi.
Yes.
All right, historically, we're at the time of year, one of the great fights that took place in our lifetime. We were young, but we remember.
It was a game changer.
Sonny Liston supposedly mobbed up the gruff, mean, we called him the Bear.
Uh-huh.
Clay coming in, just a kid, 7-1 dog. Everyone said he's going to get crushed. He's scared. They took his blood pressure before the fight. It was like 200.
Well, what's so interesting about this is why we're bringing this up. We're just going to talk about Tiger. Well, this guy named Cassius Clay is going to fight Sonny Liston. Remember, he was Cassius Clay. And he's a big dog, as George said. And he was brash. About as brash as you could get as an athlete. Would talk and talk and talk. His confident self took him to another level. His youth and speed took him to another level. And he pummels Liston, who no one thought could happen. And the reason we bring that up, and why his seventh round win is so important in the realm of today's, this Cassius Clay is Muhammad Ali, a name that became synonymous with the greatest of all time. And no one at that day knew that how great he was going to be. They knew he was an Olympic champion. They knew other things, but still, he didn't become just a United States hero.
No.
He became a global hero. Muhammad Ali became, I would say probably, no, I'm going to say I think he is, except for somebody in soccer maybe, that follows soccer. He's the greatest global guy in our
I'd
area.
say Q rating or whatever they call it, where you're known by your face.
Yes.
I'd put him at the top.
Yeah, so would I, George. I'd have him number one. So that's why we brought it up today. We usually don't bring up big things from 1964 up. But for the young kids, he was not always Muhammad Ali. At this night, he was a young man named Cassius Clay. And what a game changer this was. And we need to know. You need to know about Muhammad Ali. If you don't know, get a book on him. Go to the internet. Read about Cassius Clay and Muhammad Ali. I think it's important that you find out what he did with the realm of the world.
Now I want to combine what's going on in Houston with the antithesis in Tampa Bay. You always say you want to clear up the locker room? When?
Yeah.
Brady comes in, Godwin's a free agent, Barrett's a free agent, Gronk's a free agent, Sue, Antonio Brown. Two things. One, will they play for less? And two, give me the Brady effect.
Well, they go hand in hand. That Brady takes less money, and George always says he's got a wife that
Yeah, you can afford it.
you know that
Still, he does it.
but he does it, and he'll take less money. He did it in New England. He's doing it in Tampa Bay. He said, "What do you want me to do with my contract? I'll do anything I want because I want to win."
Mm-hmm.
He backs it up with real. He's like Roethlisberger doesn't do that. Like right now, that's
Brees
what,
either, Drew Brees.
he should go in there right now and say, "Listen, take money off me. Our team can get a lot better."
Mm-hmm.
Now Brady has always done it.
And neither did I want to mention Drew Brees.
No, he did not.
We have a buddy who's an NFL agent.
Mhm.
He wanted every penny,
Yeah, he did.
which is fine.
Yeah. So Brady has done it a different way, and that's why he wins so much. Because he not only is he the greatest, but he attracts players that there's money left in the cap that he can sign him. He did it this year with Antonio Brown. He did it with Gronk, and now they're coming back, and there's 7 players they're saying in the pros, including Beckham from Cleveland.
Bad luck for Cleveland. He's
That
put it out there. I want to go play with Tom.
That they want to go play with Tom. They didn't say they want to play with Tampa Bay.
No, nothing about old fat Bruce.
No, Bruce Arians is not going to play on this thing. And he had a base salary of $1 million in New England. I'll say that again, $1 million. Now he gets bonuses, but they're based on how he plays, and he knows how great he is, so he'll end up with a big salary. He'll end up that, but no one has given back more money to win than Brady. No one has got up at 5:30 more than Brady. No one has kept himself in shape.
How about when he walked into that guy's house? He's lucky he didn't get shot when he first got there. He was going to the OC's house and he was in the wrong house.
Yes.
He walked right in the house. He's lucky he didn't get shot.
And he's always taking things on the edge. You know, like at Tampa, they said no workouts.
Mm-hmm, right.
He found a playground,
Yeah.
and they were not saying no. That's the best part, because if Tom's doing it,
We should do
We
it.
should be doing it too. And there's
should
nothing.
do
No,
it.
what a
Yeah.
great. George and I are both coaches for 60 years. When we didn't have to say anything to get the kids to play hard, when the leaders on the floor
Yeah,
said,
you had
"This is the way
something.
you do it," you have something in place.
And we'll let it go on this. No one can get Fournette to budge. They cut him in
Isn't it the
Jackson.
truth?
And all of a sudden he's playoff Lenny, and he's just killing it.
Playoff Lenny became playoff Tom's protege. He knew, Brady knew right from the start that Jones is good,
There's something here we
but
didn't get.
Fournette's a little better.
There's something here we didn't get.
Yes, so he
We're gonna
would.
dig it.
George would take his. George said, "Brady, you see Brady put his arm around him and said, listen, we are gonna.
It's all about you, Lenny.
Yes, we're gonna call you Lenny, playoff Lenny.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna make you the guy."
Amazing.
Fournette, who's always been,
Oh, couldn't get all in anybody. He
Yeah.
wasn't all in. Put it that
yeah,
way.
never
He's all in.
all in. Now George started this resume, this talk, by saying, well, all this revolves around one thing, and it's called winning. When you win, players jump in
That's
with
right.
both feet.
You got it.
I'm talking about junior high, high school,
Absolutely.
and now in college and also in the pros.
Exactly.
Brady has figured that out. Let's win. We'll take care of everything else. And the greatest, the GOAT, he is the GOAT, by the way. He's passed everybody else up now.
Absolutely.
Don't bring Montana up. Don't bring anybody else up.
He's the goat.
He is the GOAT, and he has done it with winning, and he's done it by thinking nothing but winning. He's not thinking about himself ever.
That's it. Hey, thanks again for watching Bottom Line Sports Talk. We'll see you next week.